Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at another of the Canon T series cameras. In an earlier video I've covered the introduction model, which was the T50, and today we're going to be looking at the Canon T70. This was introduced in 1984 and they were all replaced really in 1987 when Canon switched from the FD mount, which all of the T-series cameras are FD mount, to the new EF mount, the mount that we're still currently using today, although now we have the RF mount as well. But yeah, this was the last sort of group of cameras that utilised the FD mount. These were made in the early 80s, and like I say, they were replaced in 1987. So this is a T70. Very 80s design. There was no chrome. They were all, the T-series cameras are this sort of polycarbonate plastic looking sort of camera, powered by AA batteries. All of them are powered by AA batteries. You can see this is the battery door down here, so I've got two AA's readily available and more affordable than some of the batteries that go into cameras. So let's give you an overview. This one's wearing a, what's this one got on it? A 50mm 1.4, and this is the new FD lenses. It doesn't have the chrome ring around the back. So let's just, to remove it, you push the button in, turn it anti-clockwise until the red dot's at the top, and the lens just pulls off. To mount the lens, red dot to red dot, and turn it clockwise until it clicks. This video isn't really about lenses, it's about the cameras themselves. So here we can see in the throat, you see the mirror, you can see the foam, which is in reasonably good condition. We have a button over on this side. This shows us the shutter speed, because this is a program camera. As you can see on the top, it says multiple program AE, which is automatic exposure, dual metering system, and this little switch down here also has a lock on it as well, so you can lock it. This is the grip, and here's a little terminal for remotes, and I think there's also a shutter button that will fit into there as well. So you see where the batteries go. This is the rewind down the bottom here. It's electric rewind. So you push this button in and slide this across. Tripod socket. That's about it. On the back we have memo holder, the viewfinder. Got a screw missing out there. This is one that I rescued, so I'll have to screw it up. If we open the back up, you can see we've got a metal vertical shutter. We've got the quick load system, which is very good on these Canons. They're very quick and easy to load. Let's say power wind and power rewind. Pressure place at the back. Then we come to the top. This push button. It's all very push button. This actually has 8 different types of auto exposure, including a couple of flash modes. If you use the 277T flash gun, I believe. That is the one that gives you the flash mode. So let me hold this still. So over here we have the main switch. You can see it's in the lock position, which is off. If you move it forward a bit, because I've just closed the back, it's wound the film on. So when you move it into this average position, this is basically metering from the whole of the scene, but it is biased more towards the centre. It's kind of centre weighted averaging, they call it, which works well for most things, because most of the time your main subject is in the centre of the image. If you want more accurate metering, you can meter for the middle 11% by switching it to the partial, and that will meter in the centre of the image, so you can use that if you're doing, say, a backlit subject, etc. If you move it right up to the end, that is the self timer. So when you push on this, you can see it counts down. It's 10 seconds, and it beeps, and it probably beeps quicker towards the end. Yep. and that's the self-timer function. So that's what this switch over on this side does. Top one is mode, so if you push mode, you can see it says program, so it sets the aperture and the shutter speed. You've got mode program tele. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give you a higher shutter speed and a wider aperture. That's obviously because of camera shake. A telephoto lens will magnify camera shake. We also have program wide. That goes the other way. It gives you a slower shutter speed and a higher f number, so it gives you more depth of field. At the moment this is in manual. That's what the M stands for. I've got program, tele. I need to put a lens on really, don't I? Doesn't like the fact that there's no lens on there. Remember, red dot to red dot. Turn. And if you want to use it in automatic, the lens has to be set to A, or a little green circle on some of the earlier lenses. So that's program. Mode again. So we've got tele. Right, TV is time value. So that enables us to set the shutter speed. So just by moving this, by clicking on the buttons, there's 1,000th of a second. It goes all the way down to, there's bulb, 2 seconds. So 2 seconds to 1,000 plus bulb. That's in time value. So in that mode it will set the aperture. Press the bow button again. It's only a shutter priority camera. There's no aperture priority with this. That came later. That came on the T90, which we'll cover in another video. So I'd say most of the time it's probably going to be used in any one of those modes. Probably just the normal program with this lens. So normal program mode. This down the bottom here is the frame counter. ISO, self-explanatory. ISO 400, 200 for example. And we also have a battery check, so 3 bars, the battery's good. On the top here we have a hot shoe. This is a dedicated one. You can see it's got extra contacts on it. Film plane indicator, useful for macro, because obviously being FD you can use any of the FD lenses. FL lenses in stock down mode, and also accessories like extension rings, bellows, etc. And this is the shutter release button on this side here. Right, fairly simple camera, but yeah, quite nice. Bit noisy, a bit loud. So let's put some film in it. So to open the back, you've got a push button with a slide. Opens up the back. Take my roll of film. 35mm film, of course. It's not DX coded, this camera, so you have to actually put the ISO in yourself. So you slot the film in. This film's a bit crinkly now. You have to feed that across. This will be interesting to see if this does actually load. There you go. So it winds the film on. It shows you there's a film in the camera, and it shows you number 1. So it's now ready to take the pictures. Oh, and it's got a lens cap on, so it's getting a bit confused. There you go. So yeah, it's pretty loud. It's fairly chunky actually. I think it's a plastic outer with a metal interior. It's quite a solid camera. I'm not mad keen on all the push button functionality of it, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward to use. It's a great little sort of point and shoot camera really. Most of these I think came with zoom lenses. Something like over here. Something like this, most of them you'll probably see have got now 35 to 70. Very light, plasticky sort of zoom, but I prefer primes. I like a fast lens. These are quite slow. What's this, 3.5? So yeah, quite slow. But yeah, quite a lot of them about. The T70 I think was probably the most popular of the T series cameras. The T50 only had program mode, it didn't have any sort of shutter priority and that kind of thing. But yeah, nice solid cameras, a bit ugly though I think, fairly reliable, metal shutters in them, so yeah. LCD bleed, that's something to watch out for. Like this one had the batteries left in it, which did give me some issues, but yeah, it's back working again now. So there you go, that's the second camera in the T series, the T70. In another video I'll show you the T80, which was the autofocus version using FD lenses. But yeah, that's the camera for today. Canon T70. Highly recommended. Lenses are fairly cheap and plentiful. And comments, questions, queries as usual down below. Like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, all that usual good stuff. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.